Hello, I'm Michael. I'm here with Brittany,
Hi.
and we run 51Blocks.com, a white label digital marketing agency. But we're going to talk a lot about in this series about how to run a remote digital marketing agency, working with a remote team, and doing different things like that. And we were just actually in a meeting with a number of other agency owners, and we brought up a topic, and it was actually kind of a hot topic. A lot of agency owners wanted to kind of talk about it. So we thought we'd talk about it a little bit here today. Just my background a little bit. I've been doing digital marketing since 2000. I started this agency in 2009, so we just passed our 10-year anniversary at 51 Blocks. Brittany, why don't you throw out a little bit about your information and your background, and we'll take it from there.
Cool. I've been in digital marketing for 6 years. Went and got an MBA and then came here and got into management. So I primarily focus on operations. That's something that I really love to do is people and processes. And that's kind of how I found myself here.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a great point. People talk about having the right people in the right seats. I used to manage our team and do things like that, and that was not the right seat for me. My seat is better used with building systems and processes throughout the company, and having somebody like Brittany on my team is amazing. And she was able to manage. She's able to manage the team much more effectively than I am, and we're actually a pretty good partnership in that space. She actually started here, and within about 6 months, she was already in this position. She started at an entry level account manager, but I saw how well she interacted with people and how well people responded to her. And knowing that was a weakness of mine, I moved out of that seat, moved a little bit more to the process side. Now she's running and managing the team. So that's kind of how we're set up at 51 Blocks. But let's kind of jump in a little bit to the team structure, how we used to have it kind of structured, and now the new structure we've implemented in the last probably 3 months at our agency. So why don't you describe that a little bit?
Cool. Yeah. So we used to have, like Michael said, how I came here, dedicated account managers. These were people who took care of everything from onboarding clients to strategy to fulfillment to reporting, everything. And what we found was that as we got feedback from our team, it was just a lot for them to handle. It was a lot to keep up with client communication at the level that we wanted it to be at, and it was a lot for them to hold the weight of an account on their shoulders the whole time. So we tried to move towards a collaborative environment where it became less of one person owning everything and more of a team effort. And so as we did that, we broke out the roles. So now we have our director of strategy, who kind of oversees everything. And then we have SEO strategists and PPC strategists, and they're the ones that focus on client happiness, client communication, all of the strategy. They're the ones who we feel like kind of own the day-to-day. They're the ones who really want to make sure everything's on track. And then we have specialists, and they're not client-facing, they're behind the scenes, and they are the ones who focus on all the implementation. So by taking the legwork off of our team, we're actually able to have happier people here with us, which is great. I think it reflects on the quality of work that they're able to give their clients, and it allows them to have kind of the brain space, so to speak, to answer questions thoughtfully for their clients. Instead of just trying to get to everything as fast as they can sit down and put out a thoughtful answer to the client. They can spend more time on strategy, making sure that we really are looking at everything from all angles. And the other thing that it did was it kind of allowed our team of strategists to sit together and talk about their accounts. It made them a lot more open to go to each other for help, which we found has been really great. So I think it's been a benefit for us as a management team to make sure that our team is thriving. And it's also been a benefit to our partners and to our clients to have the dedication from someone who's able to get to you because they don't have, a ton of other things going on. And the other thing is that we try and keep our strategists really at about 60% full. And that allows us to make sure we can onboard quickly and still give new people that same attention.
Yeah, so we've seen that, allow us to scale as a company. And this is just kind of something we have on our site that I'm sharing here, the team strategist idea with the specialist along, including the director of strategy and then the writing team, all playing into creating the strategy for our clients going forward. It's almost like niching down, right? People talk about niching down into a product. That's kind of what we've done here. Instead of having somebody be a specialist or a master of all trades, right? Or, what is that, a master of none or whatever it is, a jack of all trades, master of none, is, like now they have their point person that they talk to. We have team specialists that do a very good job of executing tasks. This team strategist can stay at a higher level and have conversations with the director of strategy supporting them. And the director of strategy then can support multiple accounts as well pretty efficiently because they see what's happening across accounts and able to implement those things as well. So, I mean, it's just this team structure that we have moved from like as Brittany mentioned, the structure was everyone kind of just doing everything and being the whole owner of that account. This also allows us to, move people, into different positions a little bit easier because they understand clients, they understand the work that's being done. So that's kind of how we structured it. Overall, I think the other really big topic that we kind of ran into was when we have both contractors and employees. And when you have both, obviously our IRS looks at those things differently. And, the what you can tell them to do and how they work in the systems and things like that is a mixy situation, unless it's pretty clearly defined and laid out. And that's what, Brittany spent a lot of time in the last actually couple of days looking at this and identifying the issues, inside of what we currently have to make sure we're clean as possible so that if the IRS ever came to audit us, they would say, yes, this person's a contractor and this person's a full-time. So why don't we talk a little bit about the resource that you found and kind of expand that a little bit.
Yeah. So essentially it's hard because we need people in here on a part-time basis sometimes acting as a team member that's client facing or what have you. So the issue that we ran into was that how do you get them to follow processes and procedures and things as an agency? I mean, exactly. We are an agency, without overstepping your bounds, without making it, essentially not following the law. And so what we found that we have to do is actually just put together a proper agreement with a contractor. So something we've always had is a handbook, and this kind of has loose guidelines on how we answer our phone, how we take care of emails, how we do certain things around here. And it was really geared towards our employees. So as we started bringing on contractors, it was trying to find a good solution where it was still okay to have them utilize our training resources and our processes and making sure that the way they were getting their tasks done were in line with how we sell it to a client. It still has to be somewhat structured. So I found this great resource that allows us to put together a freelance contract in the same way that an Upwork agreement works, where basically we identify the terms, we decide, how much notice they need to give. We get to decide if they are going to agree to follow our processes or work within our systems. So it helps us as an agency to make sure that we're all on the same page. It also helps to define that, hey, even if you work here, contract with us 40 hours a week, that doesn't mean you're an employee. So it kind of keeps us safe from any of those laws. So that's, I think a great resource for anyone that's hiring a contractor through Craigslist, through any of the other kind of freelance systems that don't have a contract or an agreement like Upwork already kind of has one built in. So I think this is great. I think it's going to be huge for us going forward to just have them sign this so that everybody comes in knowing the expectations.
Yeah. And I mean, just we'll be completely clear, we are not employment law experts, right? So that's a complete disclaimer of all this stuff that we're talking about. But this is what we've seen as a solution that we're going to be able to put in place and have contractors, work for us using our tools, and understanding, the tasks that they have to do and clearly define them as contractors and clearly define them as full-time people.
Yeah. And this is super cool because it works like those tax softwares where you don't necessarily know how to do all of that by hand, but it'll put all the right words in here, abiding by law and by state, which is really cool. So as we review these, we make sure that we also read them thoroughly and we understand things that we have to stick to as a client to them.
Yeah, so things that we have to particularly say to people as well, like, hey, this meeting's optional. If you would like to come, we're having a meeting and things like that. Or if it's written into the agreement that they, are on certain meetings for clients or whatever it may be, that they obviously that's what they're hired to do, right? So and I think you mentioned something that's actually interesting. And when I first started my business, I didn't know that every state has, rules that they need to apply by, and that's why we need to have this type of global contract that works for each state or is used for each state that we're able to implement and use. It's no different than when you're doing taxes by every state, right? For state employment taxes or state, having employees in certain states. It's actually gets pretty complicated pretty quickly when you're a remote agency and you have all these freelancers or employees throughout the United States. And you run into those issues. It's actually could be somebody's almost full-time job, I feel like. Yeah. So, so like I said, it's just a quick video today, our first one. Next time we'll probably jump in and go a little bit deeper in things. But, we saw this as a hot topic and wanted to get it out and, give a resource of what we found to find the solution. Brittany, do you have anything else you kind of want to add or?
Maybe to the team structure, one thing, kind of a pain point with our white label partners is turnover. And it's something that no agency is going to be able to stay away from. So with the new structure, something we did keep in mind was turnover. And with having that team approach, with having a director always looking at the accounts, with having multiple team members looking at everything, it's allowed us to have easier transitions, and clients, they don't really feel the strain of it because they've known 3 people, not just one. So I think that was just something to add to that one.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great point because that's something we've talked about a lot in our agency is, the trust factor of the company. Even like when you sell something, right? Because you're usually doing most of the selling, and that trust is built with Brittany. But now as we even sell, we sell the team, we sell our structure, and that really helps build the trust. And then when they're interacting with the strategist and then the specialist, and then, they see this team working together, they feel more comfortable when you transition people in and out of positions. And we've seen that actually help with client retention, where people were upset previously that people left. Now they're not as upset. They're obviously not happy. Either are we when people move on, but it's part of the process of any agency, and it's just minimizing that risk, I think, is or that liability as you move forward. So I think that's you want to add anything else, or are we good here?
No.
Okay, great. Well, good job on your first video with this. So I'm Michael, she's Brittany. We're owners of 51Blocks. If you have any questions about white label solutions, please let us know. We're here. We're passionate about digital marketing, and we want to help. Have a great day.